What's up? How's it? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? So, like the entire countdown, I was trying to do some different things, and my camera was just giving me crap the whole time, flickering in and out on OBS, not responding on OBS, and then responding to all 18 clicks and stuff like all at the same time. Oh, it was infuriating. It was infuriating. My hair looks so weird right now. I know you guys mind so much. How we doing tonight? Guys, tonight we are a little bit different. We've been running for like I don't how many weeks straight? What was it? There were 14 parts, which means probably 14 streams. So for 7 weeks, basically, almost 2 months, we were just running on A Plague Tale Requiem. But it is finished. It is complete. It is over. It is done. And as much as I wanted to be able to have, I wanted to record a little bit tonight, like I wanted to write a script and then record kind of a beyond the game video. Those are kind of videos, some videos I want to be doing more in 2024. I'm a poet. But I did not, dad life, I did not get to actually write a script between last night and tonight. So maybe we'll do it on stream, but the idea being about looking at themes, thinking through themes that have been in the games that we play, and going beyond the game, going deeper. We all love different games for different reasons, and acknowledging the different themes and topics that happen within certain games that we play, and then connecting them to life, talking about them even from a biblical way of thinking, as I myself am a Christian. And sharing some thoughts that way. So, my goodness, I need to turn down how loud those redemptions are, because just for pressing "don't press this" like he shouldn't be, it like screams in my ear holes. Goodness gracious, guys, how are things looking? I was having issues. I think I said at the beginning of stream, I was having issues in the countdown with actually having things react and respond. My camera specifically was giving me a ton of issues. And the other question is, do we go, Axis, good to see you, by the way. Do we go with the regular lights tonight? Regular lights? We're done playing A Plague Tale. We kept going with red, kind of with that fire to keep the rats away feel. Do we go a different color, or do we just keep it light? Keep it light and bright tonight. I am a poet. Golly. Oh, blue. Axis coming in and saying, I'm in control here. I'm the captain now. Let me see. Guys, I have to make on my stream deck. I did make it last night. Last night's stream, I made the slight zoom, which is just to here. So it's not as invasive. But we still have the you got a booger up there zoom. They're all that's still there, but I need to make a button for that second one, for that mid one. What was I going to do? Oh, we were gonna test out blue. Let's see. Color, it automatically goes to red because that has been the color that has been set. But let's. Do we want like dark blue? Oh, you can't really see anything, man. Or do we want kind of like this light, kind of like that blue right there? That's kind of nice. Nice. All right, so we got that one on door side. There we go. How are we feeling about that? Whose boogers are these? Exclamation point quote. See what pops up. I don't know if that's on there, but it should be a quote. Let's change this one. Oh, no. That should already be working. What? What was that quote? What the heck? I don't remember what that's from at all. Maybe from like the Halo playthrough or something like that? I don't know. I don't know. Changing this song. So repetitive. Heard it so many times over the past few weeks. And then it goes to one that makes me feel like I need to contemplate life. Golly. What are these? Axis, how are you doing tonight, sir? Let's change the steady. Let's change it to... I have to be careful about the one next to me because it may make me... It might wash me out. See if I can match the... Kind of matches the ones in the background. Let's exit out of that. All right. Could be from anything. Yeah, I know. That's one of the things about ones like the quote thing is like you get ones that are from so far back, and unless they're clearly like here's the issue is I never clearly marked that. Like there needs to be some sort of like context to be understood with that. And the other thing is they need to be ones that are more like community remembered rather than me remembering moments. You know what I mean? Let me see. Do I need to up that gain a little bit more to get it back? What do we think? Do I need to get a little bit darker? Or a little bit more warm because of all the blue in the room? All the blue in the room. We move the white balance up a little bit more. Is that good right there? If it's 4,500. That's too orange, right? Yeah, it's way too orange. I feel like when it's all blue in the room, I need to have it more like 4750, like this right here. How's this feel? Anyway. We'll see. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, check to see if I even need to post it here. I don't think so. Nope. Already did. So I got a list of potential things that we could look at tonight, but I feel like in the future, what I want to do is I need to have something. Blue Trooper, thank you for 13 months hitting us with that prime. Appreciate you, man. How are we doing tonight? Guys, that thing didn't pop up anywhere, did it? Like the alerts are supposed to pop up, but the no, they're like off the page. What is that? They're like, that's weird. All right, so we're gonna do something. We're gonna go back to Stream Elements, just because we gotta test it out. Of course, every time somebody does something on my stream, it's just like, oh, you better test that to see why it didn't work, because it never works. All right, so what we need to do is go to Elements, Stream Alerts. No, that's not where we need to go. We need to go to Overlays, and then we need to get rid of that one. Bye, Felicia. We need to go to, I don't know what that means. Oh, T4W. Thanks for watching. I don't know. What did I? No, that's my stream's chat. I'm so confused. Oh, it's because it's not on there. It's a Twitch. It's a Twitch thing now. It's a Twitch thing now. Oh, stop talking to me, Delkery. Oh, let me see here. If I go to creator dashboard, and then wait, I think it should just be settings and then stream, right? And then it should be something. No? Where is it? Where'd it go? Guys, I don't even know how to find myself around here. Wait, if I were to go to the home here on manage stream. No, then it brings me back to here. I don't know. This is kind of what we're looking at here. I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. Wait a minute. I think that might have been it, actually. See, click random things. Click random things. Here we go. Edit alerts. Yeah, this is where... No, this isn't it. This isn't it. All I was trying to do, guys. This is all I was trying to do. And I've wasted how much time? I thought it was on Stream Elements, okay? All I was trying to do, all your boy was trying to figure out, was with overlays. I didn't scroll down far enough. I didn't know you... No, it still doesn't have what I'm looking for. Okay, so I don't feel stupid. I feel kind of stupid, but I don't feel as bad. Is going to my elements and editing. And then, here we go. Subscribed. Let me see. All I was trying to do, I realize I said that like 6 times, is just go back and replay what just happened on stream. Look at that. I can do it right there. There we go. Still kind of loud, but there we go. You guys saw it that time, right? It was on the stream this time. I don't know why it was moved off. It was moved off the stream. So, but now it's back. We back. We are back. So, that's taken care of. I'm doing good. About to play some Sea of Thieves. All right. Almost in. Yeah, I got you. Well, news. My son watches this. We let him watch episodes of Hot Wheels show, and it's funny. It's like how they do like the Legos movies, but with Hot Wheels cars and stuff like that. And it's really cute. Season 1 is really cute, and then like season 2, it like completely. I don't know. It's not the same animation style and stuff. So we just let him watch. He loves the first season. And they're like 7 minute. They're like basically YouTube videos. They're like 7-minute videos. But with it, there is it's obvious that it's like a dude voicing it, but it shows like whenever like news breaks that there's a monster in the city or something like that, it goes to this female news anchor, and she's like, "No news." It's the funniest sounding thing. No news. No news. Anyway, so I got into that story and I forgot what the new news was I was going to share with you guys. My neighbor's boyfriend just walked in with the board game Destroyer of Families, aka Monopoly. He chuckled when I said that. Destroyer families. Oh man, my grandfather used to he used to pwn. He used to just, he had no mercy. I appreciate it to this day. I appreciate what he always did, and we would play Monopoly, and that man, he would have no mercy. Like, you don't get for any freebies on the skip. Oh, I accidentally went here. Oh, I should have done this. Yeah, no. Too bad for you. Too bad for you. The man was a mogul and shrewd businessman, as they would say. But it's funny because I never realized until I was in my college days that if you play Monopoly the proper way, aka according to the rules that are written and provided, I know for some reason people complain about that stuff. Like in Uno, people make up stuff and complain then that it's not, these are the rules. No, they aren't. They're stuff that you made. Stacking draw twos, that was a made up thing that y'all created. That was never in the rules. Uh-oh. Did I just light a fire? So, with that though, if you play Monopoly properly, I think it's only like a 45-minute game, or it can be done in 45 minutes. I think it's under 2 hours though. Like, it's not supposed to be a multiple day game. It's not supposed to be if done properly. So, the more you know. But the number one way to win, to anybody out there looking to play some Monopoly, because I've been seeing a lot of those ads about Monopoly Go and stuff like that, or whatever it is online. We're trying to repopularize it in a different way for a different generation. But if you play, what you need to do is this: no mercy. You need to. It doesn't matter what duos or trios you get. Okay, whatever sets you want that you can do the houses and hotels on. Okay, so railroads and stuff like that. I mean, I've won with the railroads before. I've seen people win with those all the time. If you get all four, and like you can do some things that way. But get the pairs or the trios of the places to where you can build on. Build max houses. Never build hotels. Once the amount of houses that are in the game are out of play, you're not allowed to pretend. You're not allowed to bring other things in. Like, what is there is what's there. And you're supposed to play that way. And so if you purposely get like 3 sets of locations and you do max houses, or 2 sets of locations, I don't know how the math works. I don't remember how many pieces there are. But you do max houses, what you actually do is you eliminate the ability for people to be able to get houses, let alone hotels, because you have to reach the 4 houses before you get the hotels. You're welcome. So people cannot build, and well, that's the biggest thing. And then obviously you don't get as much money as you would for the hotels, but because you focused on just the houses, other people can't get to hotels. Other people can't get as many houses. So you just quick get whatever you can as fast as you can. If you do it according to the rules, you're gonna have auctions happening all the time, because you don't just skip. You don't just go around the board one time without ever buying anything. You don't just I don't want this and then move on to the next player. No, you auction them off. Like, if you do it according to the rules and you do that house way, have fun. You're welcome. Be an agent of chaos. I'm more of a life or risk guy. I got you. I've had a few different editions of Risk: regular, Lord of the Rings, Chaos Risk, Axis. There is a risk that it works a little bit different than the risks that you're used to, but my brother-in-law had it. I don't know if he still does, but we played it one time and it's enjoyable. It's Star Wars Risk, and the reason why I say it's enjoyable is it's not like your normal Risk, in the place of like you have one map in which you have to move pieces and try to roll the dice to be able. It has 3 fronts, so you're literally having 3 fronts at the same time happen. I forget what the actual terms are of the locations, but you have like Luke versus Vader happening, and you have what are the other ones? You have 3 different fronts that are happening at the same time, just like in the movies and such. and you are going against each other within all of those and making moves. It's interesting. Check it out. Dogs, cats, yeah, Star Wars, Disney World. Gotcha. So out of the blue, my son randomly started talking about, where does Disney World live? And how come we've never been to Disney World? Or when were we last at Disney World? Like stuff like that. Nothing of the way of like, oh dad, we need to go to Disney World, but like just asking questions like that in the way of like, where does it live and where's it at? And it's just like, we haven't talked about Disney World. So, chat, the time has come. I need your help to afford a trip to Disney World, and I will vlog it. I don't know how much they actually let you vlog in places like Disney World. How much you can actually record of different things. But Red Right, what's up? Didn't come in for a Monopoly tutorial. Well, listen. I don't play Monopoly. I haven't played in a long time. But I do own a copy of it. I will have no mercy when I play with toddler Delkery one day. I will not employ that rule. I will not employ that way of winning, that strategy the first time we play. I will say that, because that would be a really low blow to like not really knowing the rules. And I'm very merciful when it comes to games, and sometimes I need to be a little bit more shrewd. I need to be a little bit more cutthroat. But here's my thing. I put a video out on YouTube a long time about this, a long time ago, a while ago, whatever, a few months ago on this, about the philosophy behind your board gaming. And when you board game, when you play games with people, what is your reason? What's your why? And usually it dials down to two. With board games, tabletop gaming specifically. The game, you're there for the game. You're there to experience the game, to give regards to the game, to try and win the game. Like, you are there for that. The second is the people around the game. I tend to be that person. I prefer to be, like, do I like to be competitive? Do I like to try and win and figure out games? 100%. But I want to be laughing with people. I want to be helping make people laugh. I want to be seeing how people are doing. I want people to be enjoying themselves, those kind of things. Like, I care about the relationships around the table more than the game. But the game does matter. And so usually people fall into camps of one of those two as their priority. And that came up from a conversation with my brother-in-law one time after I had some people over for playing a board game. We had a long conversation afterward. It was just, like asking questions back and forth, and it just gave me some clarity to more of understanding his heart for like his philosophy and his approach to board gaming as compared to my own. So yeah, Monopoly. It's like, of all the games for me to play in the modern day, I would not think Monopoly in any way, shape, or form. Not at all. We gonna stay hydrated tonight, brothers and sisters. Guys, we are at 745 followers. Our goal is to hit 750, and then we start the road to 1,000. Dude, that 1,000 is such a hurdle. It's like so difficult to get to that 1K. We gonna do it though. Hey, by the way, guys, I thought maybe one of the things I could do tonight we had talked about was, you guys had shared a couple of streams ago about like, hey, put some things on your stream. Like, what are your goals? Whether it's what's your wish list kind of stuff, but also like your follower or subscriber, like what are your goals? Put them on the stream. And so I thought while we chat, I can try and figure some of that stuff out tonight. The other thing was, I had said this a long while ago. I still don't know quite all of the details to the rules of it, but I do believe it kind of falls similarly to like reaction content, which is if you're adding something like having conversation, talking about it, stuff like that, that it is okay to do. But if you are just... So, Red, why are you reading all of these books, if I might ask? Is there a draw? Like, this is like the third one I've seen you post about, like, Islam. I'm just curious, like, is there... Are you Muslim? Or are you is there some sort of interest to better understand people of Islam? Like, what is... Makes me ask questions. I'm just curious. Rather than just sitting here with those questions, I like to ask. I do have a wish list of sorts. In fact, what I was trying to... Okay. Chat. So here's a couple things we have to do. Here's what we need to do. Okay? Let's do it the old-fashioned way here. Woo, that's bright. That's bright. That's bright. Yeah. All right, so here, guys, this is what we got. We got the old trusty notepad out. And with the notepad, we got to do a couple things. Okay, one of the things you guys had said before was about, like, creating graphics or add goal graphics to scenes. So that would be like follower or subs or like wish list stuff. Okay, that was the one. And then somebody had just said another one. Oh, the wish list thing specifically, I'm going to write this on here. There's a thing called Throne that I was looking at, like, using to be able to have... It's an interconnected app, I believe, into Twitch extensions to be able to do wish lists kind of stuff and have easy connection through. I have to look. We can look at it tonight while we're just chatting on stream and actually, like, work on stream while chatting on stream. You know what I'm saying? We can do that tonight. Got keyed in on a subject and devote a lot of interest and time, and the history of Islam in the West is my main obsession now. I got you. Gotcha. I mean, and thinking through, do you look at that and then think through correlation with or defense of the Christian faith with that, or like what's the correlation? I completely understand getting keyed in ADHD, getting keyed in on a subject, and therefore you like all of a sudden you're like spending all your time focusing on that. But I'm just curious, like what has the end, like the goal of that become? So, and this is a third one, guys, I had thought about. I've talked about this a bit, but the read and discuss, doing on stream, like grabbing. I've got 1,000 books. I don't have 1,000, but I have a bunch of books, and there's a large portion of them that are still yet to be read, from my grandfather's library, from my own library, from another pastor's library that I garnered resources from when he retired. And so the idea had come up about reading and discussing through books. And so, you know, like a stream a week, we spend a like 30 minutes of the stream reading and chatting about that chapter or that section of a book, and then continuing on with other content. To allow me focused time to actually read and to have conversation about what I read allows me to more remember it. But also then, you know, it's a content piece there to where like there's, hopefully it becomes something, you know, the idea of it is that it would hopefully become something that becomes beneficial to somebody to be able to listen to, be a part of conversation of, and all of us grow together. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the idea of what that read and discuss was. I mean, we had talked about, guys, believe it or not, I did find a Plague Tale Innocence videos. So like the edits and stuff like that. We could look at that, or thumbnails. Is what we had talked about, but more specifically, looking at making a Plague Tale Requiem thumbnails, like as the walkthrough, the playthrough, I should say, when I cut that and go to upload that to YouTube, the idea of creating thumbnails for specific parts of videos, being able to create those ahead of time, like maybe even tonight, gives me a leg up to the creation of those videos. So that's an idea. Historical understanding, the elimination of ignorance on my part. Islam of modern times is violent, but why is it so, and does it have a history of freedom, which I am convinced it does? Interesting. Interesting. I appreciate you answering those questions. Interesting stuff. So, there's a couple, there's other things. I have a whole list here that you guys can't see. One of which I can't do, which was going to be like writing a script for Beyond the Game and recording it tonight while we were streaming, like being able to talk about the deeper topics. I guess we could kind of talk about part of that and potentially create a script, but I don't know if my mind is ready to do scripting. Like, it takes me to be in a different kind of place mentally and approach, and at 9:45 at night, I don't know that I'm actually in that spot. But what was another one? I don't want to create too many. Oh, moving forward, guys, I wanted to do more reaction videos. The question is to what? It has been brought up before. Somebody had brought up, I think it was Blue Trooper, had brought up the idea of giving, kind of responding to certain, like, different topics within the Christian faith or different statements made. I did that video I just released about Christians and cussing. That was a reaction video. That was a reaction moment on stream to a TikTok where somebody was talking about something within the faith, stuff like that. But also, I like reacting to funny things, reacting to dumb things, So I was like, man, should really, and reactions, guys, if we're looking at trying to build some momentum on YouTube, reactions are the way to go. Gotcha. I unfortunately just am not. I used to be such a reader, such a lover of reading. Just not anymore. Just not. Mainly it's because I feel like I just don't have time, don't have the ability, and then also even if I do take the time to, I don't have the focus capability because I like fall asleep. Like if I slow myself to do that, it's one thing for me to read passages of scripture in the day. Like this morning, I was able to sit with my toddler and read John chapter 13 and 14, and like that's completely different. But I did get a couple books today from the library. We went to a different library, took the boys there so that my toddler could run around, have some fun, and do some different things in the activity areas. And I grabbed 2 books on homeschooling to kind of peruse some thinking about that. Homeschooling for dummies and things of the like, which is very, 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 very directed at me. So there you go. M2K, welcome. Thanks for the follow. How are we doing tonight? But yeah, so these are a couple different things. I'm doing well, man. It is hump day. Kind of feeling that. I already took some pain medication, like the Aleve back and pain that I took yesterday, but I didn't wait this time until I didn't wait until partway through stream this time. I just took it before, and I feel decent physically, but it's been a decent day. It's been a long day, long week. Anybody else have a long week? Haba is now following the herd. Welcome in. Good to have you. How'd you guys find the stream? Anybody dropping follows tonight? Appreciate you guys. Good to have you here. How did we come across the Delkery stream? Hey guys, one of the things I was thinking about the other day is kind of a frustration. I was gonna record like a little TikTok about it. Maybe I still will, but I was like, it's kind of frustrating. It's kind of frustrating that I have been like saying like, "What's up, brother?" for like decades of my life, but apparently somebody else gets to make mad money off of it. I needed a point like this. I needed like, "What's up, brother?" I needed to do that. That's what I needed to do apparently. Oh, aggravating. It was like when Bad Romance came out by Lady Gaga, and I remember like being in high school and hearing that Rama Roma the stuff like that, and I used to joke all the time about like freaking babies have been saying this for decades, and nobody ever made any money, but somebody comes out and does this, and all of a sudden, boom, billions. I just need that one idea. I need that one idea of what people have already been doing but not making any money off of, and then boom, just make money off of it. ¿Qué pasa, homies? A friend of a friend of a friend told me about you. Oh, mysterious. It's great to have you. M2K from the Crashpad server. Let's go. Let's go. It's been slow. Oh, man. I get that feeling. I'm in a season right now of being more of a stay-at-home dad during the day, and then evenings and stuff trying to do work in different ways, whether it's driving and delivering or doing some content work and such. And I get that. Like, it feels, especially when you're doing things that aren't moving the way that you feel they should. When you're talking with two kids, napping isn't matching up or something like that. Ugh. Like those things, it makes it feel forever. Feel forever? It makes it feels like forever. I don't know. That wasn't an actual tune. I don't know why I just sung like that, because that wasn't. My inner thoughts are winning. Oh man. So hubba. I don't know why I wanted to say hubba. I don't know. Stop it. Control yourself. I who's the friend? If I know M2K came over from, man, I gotta reach out and say hey again to Frost and Asia sometime. I haven't talked to them in it's been too long. I have been so disconnected from some of the connections and from some of the different relationships and people that I really touched base with, even back into COVID. I remember there's a period of time in that first year streaming, I think, to where I remember having conversations with Frost about like, yeah, man, get at it. Like, let's get back into it, because he was unsure at the time about. I hope he'd be okay with me sharing this, but like, okay, unsure about like, should I go back? Should I try streaming again, or this, that, and the other thing? And it was just like, yeah, man, like, let's do it. Let's go. And he got back on it, and obviously, the rest is history. The man's doing his thing. Love it. M2K, I am a massive Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I will be checking in with the draft constantly tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. This is one of the things, like, I'm an idea guy. And when you're an idea guy and you don't have somebody who's working alongside of you as the realist to ground you and to help administrate certain things, I don't have that necessarily when it comes to content. And so I definitely sometimes flounder myself, because I have so many different. I'm a vision guy. I have a lot of ideas and a lot of different things I want to do, and I'll start different things and it's like, oh crap, but I let that go. I started a podcast 2 seasons ago called Cleats Off the Couch. And I got to get back to it. But it was focused around focusing on NFL fans and on conversations that start with football and head into life. You know, start on the couch and head into life. And I miss it. I really do. I really miss it. I miss it. Wait, the Steelers, diehard Steelers. Let's go, Dillas. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, sir. Yep, born and raised in PA. I actually grew up in a Miami Dolphins household and made the decision. So it wasn't something that it was just like, oh, just because it was, I made a decision that I would be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan from a very young age. And part of that was because it was like, I'm in PA. Why am I cheering for the Miami Dolphins? Plus, Dan Marino had stopped playing like 2 decades before or a decade before. So it was like, there's nothing good happening in Miami. But yeah, been a Pittsburgh Steelers fan as long as I can remember when it comes to being a fan of football. Oh, go Bills. Go Colts. Dude, I forgot about this, and Red, you might remember this, but one of the funniest clips of draft memory for me was watching Bills fans the year that Josh Allen got drafted, and watching there was a group that got like popularized and made a meme because they were so let down when the Bills did not choose Josh Rosen and instead chose Josh Allen. And they were so bummed and so frustrated. It was literally like that just the air sucked out of the room. And obviously, how many years later, and it's like, how'd that go for you? How'd that go? But yeah, man, Steelers M2K. I all of a sudden like I wholeheartedly believe in what the scriptures teach, that there should be no partiality. But M2K, I just want you to know that you may have become a slight favorite of mine. I mean, no favorites, but Josh Rosen, glad that didn't work out. Yeah, I know, right? Whole life been a Steelers fan, but my household is like, you like the Cowboys, go sleep in the woods. Yeah, so here's the thing. You're a favorite of mine. Let's go. Every Tuesday and Wednesday, I hope to see you here. 9 p.m. Eastern time. Boom ski. And I look forward to hearing your thoughts next week on what happens this Friday and Saturday. Or Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Appreciate it. Love it. So, anybody have any thoughts about what their team's going to be doing in the draft? If you are not an NFL fan, if you're not a football fan, then just throw a W in chat. Just throw a W in chat. Just so I know you're here. Just so I know you're still here, you're still hanging out, you're still listening. Not everybody is a fan of everything we talk about, but hey, that's the beauty of group conversation. So guys, when I was a kid, I didn't know this, but there's pictures. There's proof. Apparently, when I was a kid, we always had hand-me-down clothes, okay? So we rarely ever went and got new clothes. It was always hand-me-down clothes or like secondhand store and stuff. Like came from a poorer family and a single mom situation for a lot of years. And so with that, we didn't have like the clothes of our choice. It was usually clothes that were like you were grateful because you had clothes on your back. Well, with that, there's a picture of me. I believe I was sitting on Santa Claus' lap, and I kid you not, guys, it makes me. I was trying to do it as clean as I could, but there's a picture of me in gray and blue with a big star on my chest. Needless to say, I am not a Cowboys fan. I don't know why I was ever dressed in those things. But apparently I had hand-me-downs that were a sweatsuit. It was a sweatsuit. It was the 90s. Come on, guys. It was a sweatsuit of the Cowboys. Probably because somebody didn't want them because they're the Cowboys. But we were like, will they keep me warm in the winter? We'll take them. And I didn't know enough at the time about football. But we had a bonfire the night I decided I was a Steelers fan. I'm just kidding. I just made that up. But Shame. Shame. Ray, what's up? How we doing? Oh, man. Double EO Steeler? Listen. I guess I have to give you some grace. I have to give you, I have to give a little grace, okay? Oh, about 2009. Let me think back. Wait, who are you a fan of? This will help me out big time. Who are you a fan of? Because if you're saying 2009, are you talking about Super Bowl in 2010? I would start gag. I mean, now you understand. Like, for me to see myself in that, guys, like, talk about the ways that the Lord puts things in your life to help you stay humble. You get too proud. You find random pictures of your childhood dressed up in Cowboys clothing. Just saying. Ah, so yeah. So are you? So, Ray, are you an Arizona fan? Are you a Cardinals fan? Are you a Seahawks fan? Oh, I 100% agree. Larry Fitzgerald is probably my favorite receiver of all time. I can't disrespect you. I said you of all people I have to have grace with right now. Right? I have to. You never disrespect you never disrespect pregnancy, right? No. Oh, the Seahawks. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, I just clicked on your channel, and is your Ray, you need to come clean. Is that man wearing a Patriots jersey? Is he? No one is perfect. Oh, that's the greatest response. That is the greatest response. Oh, that is hysterical. Oh. Listen, I'm two things. One, my brother is a Patriots fan. He mysteriously started cheering for the Patriots after Super Bowl 1 or 2, after the first or second Super Bowl win. I say he was a bandwagoner. He gets very defensive against that, so whatever. But he is a Patriots fan. The second thing is this. I'm actually really curious to hear some of the coverage from Pat McAfee and Bill Belichick to cover the draft, because they're going to be doing that. I'm really curious to hear somebody like Bill Belichick. Not a big fan of Bill Belichick. Still a great coach. I can't deny that statistically and everything. But I'm really curious to hear his approach, his thoughts when it comes to how a team is supposed to look at the draft and what to expect and what he sees and stuff like. I'm really interested in that. Red, we can agree. Yes, the Patriots, right? I almost threw up when I saw that. Ray, we still love you. We still love you. I want Tomlin fire. How do you feel about Tomlin? Oh boy. All right. How much do we want to talk about football tonight? Over under? What? I mean, is there a current? Okay, before I say that, well, first of all, I do think a lot. I want to see this. If Vegas has Pat McAfee cussing during draft, over under. I want to see if Vegas has that happening. I don't know. Nope, nothing comes up clear there. But I mean, I would say specific, like cussing in general, I would say over 10 times. If you're including including certain lesser understood words, but if you're talking about the F-bomb, I'd say I'd say let's put the over under at 3. Oh yeah, I agree with you, Red. I agree with you. So M2K. Oh, when you let me know when you're back. I will give you some summarized thoughts on Mike Tomlin. I will withhold until you're back to here. Um, so guys, we'll get back to that conversation there about the Stillers and Mike Tomlin. But for those who know, when I do thumbnails and stuff, I go through Canva. Let me get to where I want to get to first. And so, like when I do videos and I do thumbnails, I'll have something like this here, which is just some different thumbnails that I have from the past. And so my last one was this one here, and some people said to me like they really liked this one. They really thought that it was well done for draw. I go by the Benz method. If you guys don't know the Benz method, the thing I came across is about whenever you're making thumbnails for a video, thumbnails and a title, you should think of them together. It's the packaging. Think of the present that you're wrapping, the gift that you're giving to people to watch. The biggest thing that they're seeing is the packaging, is what's to draw them into the video. And so your thumbnail and your title, spend more time than you think you need to on those things. But specific to the thumbnail, is Ben's big, easy, new, simple. That's the way you really want to approach when you look at a thumbnail, understanding Ben's. When I look at this as a viewer, big, does something draw this as really big in some way? Did he really? And then it shows like almost like the cuss word across my mouth, say that. That seems pretty big to me, right? Easy. I don't know how that would fall in with something like this, but is it easy? Is it something, okay, say that, so it's just listening to something here. Okay, that's easy enough for me as a viewer, right? And then new. I don't know if it's new. I don't think this really portrayed new very well, if I'm honest, if I had to critique myself. And then talking about this, I realized I didn't have it up. And then simple. Is it simple? Yeah, I mean, it's just about I look angry with the bleep over my mouth, and then the emotes display the same kind of thing with like, did he really say that? Exclamation point, question mark. So it seems very simple. It's just a video. Did he say that? So it's reactionary. Okay. That's what I got from this. And so, but that's what I say. That's what I look for in all of it. River, what's up? Good to see you. Is the Benz system. And so looking through these, when I was making, like with game playthroughs here, I was trying to do, like with some of the game playthroughs I was doing, there's the Titanfall 2 part 1. That's what I had come up with that one. And then number 2, part 2. Yeah, there's some pieces I can definitely do better at with. I don't really like how some of the like titling and stuff and the different fonts, as well as I don't know that my face really sets up to really like create a draw to understand like what in the world's going on with this video here. But I just want to think about that as I think through what I want to do with a Plague Tale Requiem. If I go and I do a design, create a new design. Actually, let me go in here and do it. Add new YouTube thumbnail. If you've never used Canva, even the free version is phenomenal. Just be able to create, boom, YouTube thumbnail. Awesome. You got these templates over here you can use on the side if you wanted to. My head, the camera's covering this right now, but Ellie's acting up. Oh no. Took my husband to an Eagles-Bucks game and got him a Brady jersey, so at least I don't have to look at the Patriots jersey anymore. See, but a Brady jersey is just as bad as a Patriots. I'm just kidding. She wasn't here to hear me say that, Chad. Shh. About Canva? Yeah, man. So I got connected into Canva probably a decade ago in youth ministry, and I was using it in youth ministry, and then I started to hear it get popularized. And it was one of those things that kind of like I took pride in. It was almost like, yeah, oh yeah, I've been using Canva. What do you mean? And but yeah. Anyway, so it's been really a blessing. But in creating like a Plague Tale Requiem for the first piece about that, I feel like, guys, that should be a place in which I really use those. Where was that at? I'm trying to think here where I did that at, or how I found those before. Was it? No, it wasn't. Was it documents? My games? Yes, that's where it went to. Screenshots. Perfect. Okay, so I have all these screenshots. And so can I do them by date? Yes. What? Why are they not? There we go. So this should be the first one. Yes, so this was when we got to that city and we were trying to... Oh man, it's not going to create... It's not going to do multiple. Oh, I can just do this. Oh, how about them apples? Nice. Nice. There's got to be... Way to go, M2K. You follow directions well. Good job. Appreciate you. Appreciate it. There's a lot of people in this channel that don't follow directions well. So, some of this... Like, but anyway. So, good. That's a good thing. Was about using some of these pictures potentially as thumbnail backgrounds, but I'm not sure. I like that picture. I don't know about you guys. I like that picture. It's really dark, I know, but that's a beautiful picture. Let's go. That's a pretty cool, like, this one I think really presents the opportunity to have draw, because it creates this picture in itself, partially because of the blur, but also obviously because of them like leaning back on the ledge there against the side of the wall. It definitely creates an anxiety and creates a like, which I think can be hugely useful if properly used within a thumbnail. I just got to make sure that they're aligned with the right ones. Oh, this one was when like all the rats were coming. You can't really tell though. Dang. Kind of blurry. That's a cool picture, especially with the relationship that those two have. That's a really good picture. Oh, I wish I got one of her. Yep, there it is. Love that picture. Right there. Right there. Even if it's just those two. Nice. Some of this will work out. I think some of these photos will work out for thumbnails. Nice. This can definitely be one about when, like, for whenever part I get to when they're going to look for the island. It's like somehow creating text or whatever that works accordingly. This one is a trash one. That's trash. That's garbage. Oh man, that's garbage. 12? Is that what it is? Number 12? Okay. Yeah, because it had this stupid thing in it. There we go. They found the island. That one, okay, the glare didn't work out well. That's kind of a weird... Man, that one's crisp. That's a pretty dope one though. I really like this one. I really like this one. This one isn't going to be a good one. No, if I'm going too fast, just say so, guys. But I'm not a big fan of this one. I don't think this will work out for much of anything. Yeah, I'm going to delete it. The contrast isn't good, like, to separate them. Yeah, it's just, that one's not good either. Maybe. Maybe. We'll hold on to that one. Hydrate. Hydrate or dihydrate. Okay, that one is just like creepy. It looks so much better in game though. It looked so much better in game. Oh wait, there we go. Yeah, let me go back to that one. That's creepy, man. That is creepy. I appreciate that, MTK. Appreciate it. Oh man. That's beautiful. Too bad it's when she's like all cut up and almost, you know, half dead, and they gotta go find Hugo, who's about to explode Marseille. Bro. This picture came out pretty darn decent, if I might say so. Guys, that one looks so good. That one, I'm so glad I took different photos when I did. That looks so good. That one is a little bit wider out with more of it. Man. It looks like it's about to, like, this looks like a picture for something to do with Diablo 4 or something like that. Oh, man. Is that the last one? Okay, that's the last screenshot, ladies and gentlemen. Bro. So there's some definitely good pictures. The question is, this is the biggest issue, is for a playthrough, okay, I might have done like 14 parts, okay? There's like 17 chapters, well, 16 chapters. The 17th was the epilogue. And River, I haven't thought much about it, to be honest with you, but like, it's still, to me, is just, I was gonna write a script for a video, okay, preparing for it to record during stream tonight. I wasn't capable of doing. I wasn't able to do that. Maybe this between now and Tuesday, maybe. But the idea of doing a Beyond the Game, I'd like to do more videos where when I play a game, I do a video or multiple videos, but at least one video to where I talk about and address different themes and topics presented in the game, and I explore them, talk about them, in a perspective that leads to looking at life and how they affect us in life, and therefore even affecting us when looking at them through faith and biblically. I want to do some things like that. I had thought maybe about writing a script for tonight to record that on stream and then be able to cut that and use, but wasn't able to do that. So I didn't get to spend the time thinking in the same way I hoped to or expected to really dwell in that. So I haven't really thought a lot about it, but it's still the ending of that. I will say this. Let me at least go to GG. I like to record these. I need to update them. But where's it at? Oh, it's not in alphabetical order, is it? Yeah, it is. Wait, is it with A or P? Am I going past it? No. So it's not with P, which means it's with A. There it is. So we got to update this. Okay. We have beaten it. Boom. Done. And now comes the rating. This is the hard part for me. You guys see me doing the Matthew McConaughey twirling the booger in my fingers here, you know. A Plague Tale, I gave 5 out of 5. Innocence, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. Really? Look at this. You guys can't see it behind my head. Look above my head. It was given a 3.9 average. I gave it a 5. It's one of my favorite games I've played in the past decade or more. And so for me, Other people are giving it a 4.2. Interesting. I gotta be honest. I really enjoyed Requiem, but I really think that I enjoyed Innocence more. Boring and flat. See, for me, I had no expectation from it, and so it it was so good. It was so unexpected and so good, and enjoyable and different from many other games that I've played. I don't know. I guess you could argue that it like the nature of it could be understood as kind of repetitive, like some of the individual chapters and stuff, so therefore boring and flat. Kind of like some of the individual chapters in Requiem, but I don't know. Sometimes I enjoy that. I was looking for some simplicity in story, so that was a big thing for me. I think it was a really good story. It had a great twist at the end. Unexpected piece. This one, I don't know. This one, I felt like it took a turn to where I will tell you, I think I even voiced it at one point when we were playing it, especially when they were like seeking through, they were searching through where, the Child of Embers died at that location, stuff like, to where all the different times, the things that they were verbalizing about it, just the scripting just seemed so whiny and consistent and overdone. I dealt with some performance issues when it came to stuff. That might have just been the fact I was trying to do it on my PC. You guys remember how many highlights in the hairs that we saw, but glitches and different stuff like that. I don't know. If I rating my overall experience and enjoyment, I enjoyed Innocence more than Requiem. Innocence, I gave a 5-star, a 5 out of 5. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed it. For this one, guys, I don't think it's a 5 for me. And no, it's not, because the ending made sense. I hated it, but it made sense. I didn't hate it. I just was not, I didn't want it to be. Everything felt so weirdly leading up. I did appreciate how it wasn't your consistent, like at the end of Innocence, there's that whole, like, typical, you got to fight the final boss by doing these things that you've built up to learn and stuff like that. I don't know. Whereas this one, it didn't have that. In fact, you were not the one who even fought the big boss guy. Arnaud was the one who was fighting the Count and died to him and such. So, in fact, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, we finished him because he ripped off his helmet and then we killed him. Gotcha. So, I would say the picture quality was phenomenal. The music was insanity. So good. I just think there were a couple of those pieces that really limited it for me. I might put this at a 4.5. I think I might put this at a 4.5. I just think there's some of those that keep it from being a 5 for me. But I'm sure if I went back and did the same critiquing of the first one, if I went back and revisited, maybe. But experience and I do think expectation sometimes does, unfortunately, with follow-up games, expectations do affect ratings. And so I'm going to give it a 4.5, guys. I was hesitant if I wanted to give it a 4. But I do want to say this though. Like, it still was really good. And I would actually look to add it to my top games when looking at the past decade or two. So if you aren't on GG, guys, it's just a all it is a like I can record what games I own, and then I can create lists, wish lists, as well as lists about like what ones I've beaten and create whatever I want out of them. And so it's just a way to record and keep track of your collections, your reviews, if you want to make reviews, stuff like that. So yeah, that's all it is. But yes, I did see M2K. You said Madden. I used to be a big Madden guy. Like, I mean, I still enjoy playing football, but the games have gotten um similar to NBA 2K. 2K back 2K16 for me was so fun, and then they changed everything. I think it was into 16 into 17. I think going to 17 they had changed a lot, and it felt so much clunkier because they had built it towards like stick skills, and it was less of the arcadey fun, just have fun arcadey smooth sports game. And they've been made more and more to be more stick skill and stuff like that. And Madden 24 I had tried, and I was just like, I'm just not as huge a fan. I mean, I haven't touched it in a minute, but in fact, I don't even think I have it downloaded anymore, just because of that. I wasn't really enjoying it, if I'm honest. And isn't that a big reason for why we play certain games? You know what I mean? The difficulty about trying to create thumbnails for certain things, guys, like playthrough pieces, is you don't have I'm not sure about what I'm going to have in those videos, in the different parts. And so to try and create a thumbnail for that is not going to be possible. Not going to be possible. I don't know if I said this earlier too. I know I'm jumping all over the place. Whoa. But a couple of years ago, Axis, if you're still there, I know you were here for it, but when we did A Plague Tale Innocence on stream, I don't know, was that 4 years ago, 3 years ago? And I did my editing on what I had at the time, which was my old 2011 MacBook Air on iMovie. And I had never finished the final 2 parts of the playthrough videos, editing them and such. The footage was not lost on the air. I do have it. I have it saved in a folder in my internal hard drive. And so I will have to try and... timing. Goodness gracious. I will have to... I will have to... It always catches me off guard. Oh... I will have to try and finish that, guys. If you're not following on YouTube, if you've new follower here tonight, H2K or Haba, anybody else, if you aren't already, !YouTube, somebody share that in chat. Drop a sub on there. It's a free way to support the content, and you can check out these things as they release in the future, as well as look at some of the stuff from the past. And dude, if you see the editing of like the A Plague Tale Innocence when I did that, my editing then versus what I'm able to do now is so different. It's so different. Oh, especially depending on how I want to approach it, right? If I want to make a playthrough that's based on clips, so it's more of like just funny clip to move through a story that people have already watched a lot of playthroughs on, that's different. And then it would be quicker and stuff like that. But oh my goodness, so that's really small. Oh, that's the wrong one. Okay. So I need to change that. I need to just change that. Make that a little bit quieter. Oh, M2K. I forgot. I was going to share with you my thoughts on Mike Tomlin. I was waiting for you to come back, and we got into other conversations, and I never even shared. So here's my thought. We're in a sticky situation, okay, because a few different things. One, I know you're already somebody who thinks he needs to be fired. And so you've already seen a lot of the different things. A lot of different things that have been happening over the past decade and a half, to me, correlate back to head coach. Different things of preparation against losing record teams, when you're playing them as losing record in the season and stuff like that, playing down to opponents. That goes back to the head coach and preparation. Fourth down choices and options of going for it in different scenarios. The AFC, what should have led to the AFC in other Steelers Patriots AFC Championship game, but wasn't, because Blake Bortles and the Jaguars was because of 4 fourth down calls by Tomlin to go for. And like, there's a lot of pieces like that. And I know, a lot of players and stuff about, he's a great leader of men and this, that, and the other thing. I mean, in the NFL, like, you got to win, and you got to win playoff games. And he hasn't made it to the ladder there. The whole like winning season thing, I think there is some legitimacy to that, but also I think it is kind of conflated. But to me, here's the bottom line. I think we're in a conundrum, because you have 3 things. One, you keep the guy who's going to be a Hall of Famer, who's going to be written as a great, one of the greatest coaches of all time, who is loved by players, who is does seemingly be a great role model and a great leader in different facets and stuff. Like, there's some of those that he carries with, but when it comes to like winning and different pieces like that, it just seems like, and I've been saying for years that as long as Tomlin's the head coach, they're not going to win a Super Bowl. That's been my statement for years. I believe that he only won Super Bowls because of the rosters that were already put together by Bill Cowher. The Hall of Fame quarterback who we have seen over the past few years without. What does that mean? And so that's the first thing, is you keep them, you continue through, get a couple more, just above 500 seasons, maybe if we're lucky an 11-6 season or something like that. But we're in the AFC North, so everybody else is going to get that too. That's the frustrating thing about how good the AFC North has been and is going to be for a few years yet. The second thing is this: if you do get rid of him, okay? And these are the thing. These next two are the ones that I don't think a lot of people who are proponents for firing think through enough. It is hard to get a really good coach in the NFL. It's hard to get a really good coach. And so what you risk if you fire is you risk, one, getting trash. And then you start a cycle that the Steelers have never had before. And you start this cycle of like, oh crap, this didn't, oh crap, we got trash here, we got trash here. And you start this cycle of when are we going to find our next coach? Next good, long-lasting coach. The second potential, if you fire, is now you get the Eagles coach, who's now the Jaguars coach. Was the Jaguars coach? Is the Jaguars coach? He came in, had a build-up season, won a Super Bowl, had a drop-off season, and then done in Philly. Some say Sirianni's going to be like that too, but that's Philadelphia fans talking about Philadelphia sports. Can't trust it. So, but what you do is you potentially have a very short term, maybe a little success, maybe not. Maybe it's the same as Tomlin, as the outcome from Tomlin, for a few years. Well, then you didn't do anything to better anything. You might as well have kept him in the first place to continue to build upon for the players, the consistency, for the fan base, for the fame records, all that kind of stuff. You would have been better off just keeping instead of making changes and such. The third potential is that you end up striking gold. That does exist, but you're talking, it's one of three on that front, and it's not a 33, 33, 33. It's literally like a most likely at 60% being the crappy. Got to find the next one. Okay, nope, not this one. Probably 60% there, and then probably 39% or 35% likely that you would get somebody who is and then like 4% or less to get the yes, our next Bill Cowher, our next Chuck Noll, our next Mike Tomlin, or whatever. So that's the thing to me is, I think more and more from what I see of him and what I hear from players and stuff like that, more and more I am not a proponent for firing him, but it's only because it's kind of like the political thing. No, the lesser of two evils. It's like there's really not a better option. I understand that, M2K, but the other thing people have to understand too is that over the past decade and a half, like, think about where the competition came from to prevent the Steelers' opportunity. Like, Baltimore's always been a freaking thing. Cincy, especially the other year, right? But then New England, Kansas City, Indianapolis. Like, you always had these AFC powerhouses, and the Steelers, they did their thing under Cowher. They did their thing into 2 Super Bowl appearances with Tomlin, 1 win, one flop. But I don't know. It does make you question things when you've got the powerhouse of the triple Bs. You got Ben. We had Ben Brown and Bell, but we didn't have a defense. There were so many pieces that make you like, well, why wasn't that put together? Why didn't that work out? But the rest of the league, it's still the NFL. It's still the NFL, and so that's where, like, I don't think the Steelers will win a Super Bowl under Tomlin. But in part, that's not because of Tomlin. In part, I do think it is, but in part, I don't think it is. Because you still have what is the Kansas City Chiefs. You still have what is, I would say, the current Ravens, but the Steelers have shown their capability against them. But you still consistently have, you have the Bills. They haven't done well against the Bills. You have, what's another AFC team that's been on the top or been on the rise? There's been pieces, and the biggest issue has been too. Think of even over the past 5 seasons or 4 seasons, whatever. You had Ben, who was aging. I don't for a second believe that he was as bad as people want to paint the picture to him. Who he should have retired 2 years earlier and stuff. No, I don't agree. His statistics say he still had top 10 seasons his final 2 years. Matt Canada was his offensive coordinator. And so I do think that was a big thing. I have questioned, for being a defensive-minded coach, a defensive-first guy, known to be a defense guy in Mike Tomlin, why in the world did we struggle so many years to actually come through defensively? Why did we all of a sudden have such a good offense and then our defense is literally 31st in the league or whatever? I don't know. So this year, though, looking at the current roster for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm hopeful. I'm excited. I'm hoping that Justin Fields learns under Russell Wilson. I'm hoping for the sake of Russell Wilson as well as for the Steelers, but that Russ gets to show that he's not what the situation in Denver shook him to be. But I really want to see Justin Fields grow under him, because as of right now, I believe Justin, and I've said this numerous times, I'll stand by my words, Justin Fields has shown himself to be a more athletic Mitch Trubisky. He for the Bears, he tended to come off as a single read quarterback who could run really well. And so with that, Mitch showed promise for 2 years. Justin Fields has shown promise and capability for 3 years or whatever. But he still shows, but he's been in a bad situation there in Chicago. He hasn't been in a good position to be able to grow and build. And so I really believe if he gets some maturing and some opportunity to be able to build in his pass game capabilities with good coaching, as well as good veteran support through somebody like a Russell Wilson, I do think that there is some positive potential moving forward. I do still like the idea of the Steelers picking up a quarterback in like the 4th or 5th round. I do like that. I think they have to prioritize offensive line in the first, dare I say, first 2 rounds. Steelers have always been good about getting a receiver in the 3rd or 4th round that really pays off. The George Pickens, though, 2nd round last year, but that was more of he should have been 1st, but fell to 2nd. Although he's one, though, this is another thing that goes against that, goes to support that idea of like, as Mike Tomlin, the guy, is under Mike Tomlin, think about how many head cases. Now, granted, in what locker room in the NFL have you not heard about a head case, especially in a skill position? So I'll credit that. But San Antonio Holmes, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, even a little of Juju, I would say. A little bit of Chase Claypool, right? George Pickens has that potential to be a guy like that. And that's where last year, or his rookie year, my prediction with him was about he'd either be he could be a Pro Bowler or behind bars. Like he just has that kind of like feel to him. And obviously I hope the Pro Bowl side, right? But Mitch went to the Bills and then Pickett to the Eagles and then Rudolph to the Titans. Yeah, and so they're all sitting in backup positions. And just think, and that's another thing though. Think about like the one season when the Steelers went 8-8, 9-7. I don't remember what the outcome was, and they were running with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph. And then this past year, or the past 2 seasons, where they've been dealing with what they've been dealing with Pickett and Mitch and Rudolph, like, and still going 10-7, 9-8. Okay, well, I mean, that's something for us to take into consideration. Is think about what, and Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator, and still able to come out with a 8-1, 9-7. 8-1, 9-8, 10-7 seasons. Maybe that speaks more to the coach's capability than people give credit for. So this year will really be, I think, a tell it year. If we see some movement, here's my worst case scenario prediction. My gut, the thing I don't want to happen, but I have a feeling I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Prove me wrong, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Russ is our starter, but by week 4, Tomlin is already having issues deciding on who's going to start at quarterback. And we're back into this like, oh, it's this guy, instead of the reliability at quarterback, the opportunity to be able to perform. That's unfortunately where I think we'll be. And it'll end us in another 9-8 season, 10-7 season. So, I don't know, but they're definitely ride and die with Tomlin. I don't foresee him going anywhere. Him and Omar Khan have been working things up. I will tell you, the con artist I've really enjoyed what I've been seeing happening with him. Colbert wasn't bad, but he just wasn't. That's another thing we have to take into consideration. As I speak things out loud and think about him, Colbert as GM, right? I think he affected the capability. I think there was a lot of things at hand, and so now though, with things that Omar Khan has been doing and working, I like the potential, I like the opportunity, but I think they have to go offensive line the first 2 rounds. You got to get somebody to be in the center. It'd be good to get another tackle, or somebody who could play between tackle or guard. And then from there, now you can, receiver. If you have a really good option available the second round, okay, I can see the receiver. But at 20, if one of those top 10, it's a deep tackle class, but deep for the first 10, after that, it drops off hard. So if you got one of them available, you got to take one of those offensive tackles. So, and then you also, that's where I say, I've been hearing stuff, and I think the Steelers just mess with people this way, to where they talk about like trading up to try and get that Quinion Michael or whatever from Toledo, the defensive back. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. There's too much at stake for an offensive lineman, especially a top offensive tackle, to go up, grab a DB. No, we need to invest in the line big time. We need to invest in the line. And so I think that's what we're going to see. I hope that's what we're going to see. And then they can go after a receiver. I think Brandon Ayuk, who a lot of people have been hoping for with trades, is just too much. Is going to be too much. What I would love to see is if something could have been swung for like maybe a second round and a 5th round pick or something like that. Because the Steelers cannot afford to give up a 1st round. But I don't think it's worth that when you have the receiver class that you have right now. You'll have somebody of worth available in the 2nd and 3rd rounds, even the 4th rounds. I think they'll be fine with the receiver options. I would have liked to see another pickup in the free agency for a receiver. I just think you're a little thin going into the draft this way, but prove me wrong. I love to be proven wrong when it goes my way. Remember what? Which, are you talking about Derek? But yeah, so that's really where things lie for me right now with Pittsburgh, and we'll see what they do. But I think offensive line, a receiver, and then excuse me, I think it'd still be good with how many issues we've had with linebacker, middle linebacker. I think it'd be good to still look up to shore up somebody there. I know we just got what's his name from the Patrick Queen from the Ravens, and we have Cole Holcomb once he's back from injury. But that's the thing, is how many guys do we face with injury? And middle linebacker for us has been something that we have just lacked ever since the injury to Shazier. And so I could see doing another DB. So first 2 rounds, offensive lineman, and then a receiver the 3rd round, and then probably a DB the 4th. DB the 4th round, and or end of 3rd, because I don't think we have a 4th round pick. I think it's 2 3rd picks. I don't remember. And then you can fill in a defensive lineman, another linebacker, stuff like that. I'd like another, like maybe a late round running back. A late round running back behind some of the young guys that they have, who are backups to nobodies. And then because if Jalen Warren or Najee Harris go down, the other one being leaned on 100% of the time is not going to be healthy. Is not going to work. So I'd be got a kicker. Yep. A punter too. Got the punter from Houston, which is good. So I just think there's been a lot of good moves that have happened. We just have to see the quarterback play out. But I think like a 5th round quarterback pick should be good. Would be good. If I were to go right now and look up NFL draft QBs, let me look at quarterbacks. There we go. Okay, so here you're looking. Those guys are all be gone. Bo Nix will be gone. You're looking at what is this is the thing I'm trying to figure out, like, what pick wise Boswell should still be in Pittsburgh 100%. Yeah, he's still kicker. Is the guy you were what was the name of the guy you were talking about? Michael Wright. Is that the name of the punter? I don't think that's his name. Because if you go, let me look at the player roster here. And if we were to look at Matthew Wright. Okay. That's who it is. UCF. Okay. Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's going to be a practice teamer, but it's good to have a reliable one. So, I mean, he was with the Steelers for 4 games in 22. 12 or 14. 7 for 7 on extra points. So, and in 2020, he was there for 3 games. 4 for 4 field goals, 7 for 7 extra points. So, yeah. But who was I talking about? Oh, quarterbacks. But yeah, I think I mean, I think you do take a quarterback in like the 5th round for the Steelers. I have to look here too. Steelers picks. I want to see what all picks they have for their draft. They have 7 picks. Here we go. They've got number 20. Obviously, we know that. 1st round, 2nd round. They got 2 in the 3rd round. They got 1 in the 4th. They got none in the 5th. And then they got 2 in the 6th. So that's where I think in this here, so that actually works out better than I expected. Because you then have the offensive lineman picks I'm talking about in round 1 and 2. And then you have a receiver, first pick in the 3rd round. And then you could go DB there and take a quarterback in the 4th round. And then 6th round, I think you fill in like a defensive interior lineman, an interior defensive lineman, or another inside linebacker, or even if there's a solid running back in there that you think would be an excellent 3rd string to have next to behind Jalen and Najee. But let's go M2K. Let's go. I have never been to a game. Never been to a game. Anyway. Anyway, that's enough football talk for me tonight, I think. Oh, I don't want to get frustrated ahead of the draft, you know? Oh man. But here's the question. It's not really a question. I think I'm actually, guys, I think I'm gonna close up stream here sooner rather than later tonight. I thought maybe about like, hey, do we just chill on a game of some sort for a little bit? But I found out that my physical therapy appointment is an hour earlier tomorrow, and so the morning is going to have to work a lot faster. So it'd probably be better for me to try and do maybe a little bit of clipping, editing, and stuff from previous streams, and then head to bed a little early if I can. But I hope and pray to have a good plan for what's going to be happening moving forward, since we are done with A Plague Tale. I had thought about, guys, the Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. That comes out when does that come out? I thought it was like next week. Yep. No. Oh, we've got a while. May 21st. Initial release date is May 21st, and it's a straight to Game Pass game, I believe. So, you know, I played it privately. I didn't play it on stream before. I played it actually the same time I played A Plague Tale: Innocence on stream. I was playing Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, off stream for my own pleasure. That I was playing those two games at the same time. So I had thought about I could always go back and play the first one, but on stream. But I think I might. I've already played it. I think I might do something different. I don't know. It was a good game. Don't get me wrong. But it's really dark. It's really dark, and it can be really, really triggering. With the way that it works, it's supposed to work with you psychologically, like with the imagining, like the way that they do the sound design in that game is so flawless, about where you literally are like thinking you have psychosis, like you are hearing voices and stuff. It's so trippy and so dark. Watch Boots. Boots? What do you mean Boots? As in like Puss in Boots? What do you mean by Boots? NCK, you have a great evening yourself. Hope to see you next Tuesday at 9 Eastern. But yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I'll let you guys know what the plan is moving forward, and we'll go from there. But I'm not gonna fight against myself. I'm starting to feel a little tired, so we're gonna ride it tonight. Appreciate you guys, and if you heard it for the first time or for the millionth time, I want to remind you of the identity that you have. It's not based on what you think of yourself, what others tell you. It's not based upon your failures or successes in life. Your identity is based upon the one who made you, the one who gave you your identity and made you who you are. You are a unique, unrepeatable, beautiful, and intelligent miracle of God. You are made in His image. You are made with a purpose and a plan. You are loved, and you have great value. Appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a great night, and I will see y'all next Tuesday. With that, happy gaming, happy living. God bless.